Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's the question of the century, right? No, welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is kind of a bleaky Monday.
Hey, we had a good ride, didn't we?
It was a good ride.
The summer wasn't too bad. It wasn't too stinking hot. Beautiful fall. And, hey, it's October. Maybe we got Indian summer yet to come, or maybe we've already had it. I don't know.
We don't know. We just go with it. And,
You said it. Go with it.
Just go with it. We were talking over the weekend and we were like, it's funny. If it were this temperature in the spring, we'd all be running around in tank tops and shorts. But right now we're like, oh, it's so cold.
Oh, winter's here. Where's the chunky soup?
Yeah. But did you be honest, did you or did you not bust on the heat last night?
I busted on the heat even before last night.
Okay.
It might have been on Friday night because I was out late because of the football game.
Yes.
And going into the stadium and coming out of the stadium was a different experience.
Yes,
the temperature
for sure.
dropped then. I mean, it wasn't like, there wasn't frost on the pumpkin yet, but it was getting
close.
But
it's getting there. And so yesterday, see, I'm one of those that fights at kicking and screaming. So the next thing I know, though, the husband's like, I turned on the heat. I'm like, what a wimp. But that's okay. It's all right. Actually, it was just kind of toasty.
When the house is a little cold and that heat comes up to the register the first time,
nice.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stinks a little bit.
Yeah, right. And we're helping Columbia Gas out.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So anyway, welcome to the morning show. Man, oh man, was it a weekend full of a bazillion different events and things going on. So Pete is here to do the news. So we'll just get right to it because I know we're kind of afraid we're not going to get through it all.
Right. Well, it is a warning. Usually it's a marathon or a 3,200 meter run. It's going to be kind of a dash for the whole hour here because we got a lot to get through. We weren't on at the end of last week, and there were some things worthy of at least mentioning real quick that is in the rear view mirror, and there's things in the front view mirror. And then, as you said, a busy weekend. Yes. No Apple Festival, no Ohilco Festival, but still a lot of stuff.
All the events.
And very worthy.
Sorry, Pete, not to steal your thunder here, but we initially weren't on last week. I just like to throw out we actually did a remote episode, and it was a success.
Okay, well, good.
Yes.
The Foothills Art Festival.
From the Foothills Arts Festival, Dylan,
right.
I mean, it was a hoot. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
But it worked.
On the road, right?
Yes, and Dylan figured it all out.
On the road with Dylan.
Yes, on the road with Dylan, yes.
Yeah, I talked to Dylan on Friday, and he was wondering how that was going to work out, and I said, go with it.
Yep.
Like you say,
actually,
your famous words, go with it.
Just go with it.
Make the best of it.
Eric helped out. We want to thank him. And there was a lot of hurdling over cords and whatnot, but we made it, and there were no casualties.
Right. Okay.
No art died. No, it was fine.
Okay, that is good.
Yeah.
That is good. Okay, well, we're going to start out with all the news we had. We're going to start out with something on the soft side, but something that everybody's always interested in when we hit this part of the high school football season. That is homecoming.
Yes.
It was homecoming this past weekend at Wellston High School and Vinton County High School.
Yep.
And homecoming is coming up at Jackson High School this weekend. So
nice.
We're going to go over some royalty here.
Very good.
Okay, at Wellston High School, the homecoming queen, there she is on the left, well-known lady, young lady, Kimberly Aubrey. And she is flanked by Jacob Collins, rather, who was the homecoming king.
Nice.
All the high schools now do homecoming king. Almost all of them do.
Cute.
And Jacob is the homecoming king at Wellston High School. She was announced and crowned in pregame ceremonies Friday at C.H. Jones Field. I think Jacob was named earlier in the day, and there they are. So we will have their picture in the Telegram. We already have it on Facebook, and we'll have it on the website soon. So congratulations to Kimberly Aubrey. She not only is a pretty young lady, but she's also an outstanding athlete.
Crazy good athlete, yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'm giving Kimmy Aubrey, and I already texted about this, the most awesome homecoming dress of the year award.
Oh, you saw? Okay.
It was.
I had not seen that.
Gorgeous,
well,
absolutely gorgeous.
She has on a very nice looking pantsuit there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, her dress was. Yeah, smoking.
Right, and you know, maybe the day before or the day after, she was running cross country.
I know, right?
So,
exactly.
You know, a woman for all seasons.
Yes.
All right, Vinton County High School homecoming up there on Friday evening as well, and their queen is Emma Davidson, and there is Emma on the right with the crown, getting crowned by last year's homecoming queen, Marissa Huff.
Nice.
And before the game there, those were those pregame ceremonies. We don't have the king in the picture, but we will tell you that the gentleman who was chosen was Storm Hoegen. And I probably butchered that. He is a Norwegian exchange student.
Really?
Right.
How fun.
And he got, what a trip for him all the way from Norway, and the student body picks him
cool.
as the homecoming king. And so big night at Vinton County. The Vikings made it a successful night all the way around because they won their game. They remain in the hunt for a TVC Ohio championship. Hopefully we'll have time to say a little bit about sports later on. Jackson High School, homecoming this Friday, including a dance on Saturday.
Yep.
You know, the whole 9 yards. I think the alumni band will be out there playing on Friday evening as well.
Always
but we've
fun.
got a picture of the young ladies who are candidates for homecoming queen and the underclassmen attendance as well. And here they are lined up in front of the front door. If you're looking at the picture, we're going to identify these young ladies left to right. And, not only are they very attractive young ladies, as you can see, but, they're also thought very well of by their classmates.
That's right.
Because this is kind of like a student election type thing. All right. From the left, the freshman attendant is Lily Eberts. The sophomore attendant is Emma Carroll. Then you have, oh no, I'm not in order here. Let me go back here. Then you have your seniors who are the queen candidates. You have Deanna Houston. You have Maddie Walburn. You have Bailey Witt, and you have Allison Causey. And then on the end, you have the two junior attendants, Campbell Davis and Elena Houston. And Deanna and Elena, by the way, are sisters.
Oh,
so one is a queen candidate.
I can totally see the resemblance there.
Yeah, and we've seen Deanna around before.
Yeah,
she's second attendant for the Jackson Apple Festival.
That's right.
And Maddie Walburn, right there in the middle, of course, an outstanding student athlete at Jackson High School. She, in addition to being a very good basketball player for her father, Matt Walburn, the girls' basketball coach, she is probably one of the best soccer goalkeepers in Southern Ohio. So congratulations to all those young ladies. And the queen will be crowned in pregame ceremonies on Friday evening before the Jackson Greenfield McLean game. And I know that the alumni band will be playing too. Ryan Hurd, I'm sure, will have a good homecoming band show as well.
Yes.
Then the dance, weather permitting. Well, they'll have the dance weather permitting or not, but if the weather permits, it will be in the big parking lot at the stadium. That's something that they started to do during COVID, and somehow they like that.
Yeah.
And so if it's not too cold or rainy, probably more than anything else, it'll be out there in the parking lot. If not, they will go inside. All right. And we're not leaving Oak Hill out. Oak Hill already had their homecoming earlier in the fall. All right. Some big things happened on Friday and over the weekend, and we're going to cover them really quickly. Okay. Dylan, if you could tee up the Spectrum ribbon cutting picture. Spectrum, and of course, that's one of the big cable TV internet providers. they had a big event at the Vinton Experimental Forest Conference Center there in Vinton County. They had some political and governmental leaders from the state and from Vinton County there, and they're cutting a ribbon to symbolize the fact they announced that they're going to be doing major broadband service expansion in Vinton County.
Awesome.
Now, we remember they had a similar event in Jackson County not too long ago, maybe at least a year, but between Spectrum's investment and governmental grants, they're going to be able to put broadband where it hasn't been before.
That's so cool.
You know, if you're in the modern world and you don't have internet, you know, you're hurting. Let's face it, or you don't know what you're missing. And you know, it not only is it a personal convenience to have it because of all the information that you can get and your connections, but it's a development thing. You know, you're talking about business, industry, people moving in.
Absolutely.
No internet? You're kidding me.
No, that's
coming.
exactly right. That's one of the first questions now that people ask is, do I have access
and what's the
to
quality?
high-speed internet?
What's the quality of it and so forth? And, you know, and unfortunately, it depends on where you live sometimes. It's just like more so than like water lines and sewer lines. You know, they're not everywhere and they cost a lot of money to spread out. And so the fewer people you have, you know, the less the return on your investment.
That's right.
Because, you know, when the people pay the rates and all. So anyway,
Good
we
for
cannot
them.
get Spectrum to say exactly where they're going to expand other than saying that they're going to go places they haven't been before. And they did tell our Red Thompson Jr., who covered this, and this will be a big story at our Wednesday paper, they did tell him that the Hocking County people, or the Hocking County project that Spectrum is doing, will include Swan Township in northern Vinton County. Red, who has covered, you know, the tourism angle in Vinton County very well, says that will be a big deal because of its proximity to the Hocking Hills and all the tourism-related development that is in Vinton County or could be in Vinton County if there are facilities. And that includes internet.
Yes.
So
big deal.
You know, if you're staying there, Ravenwood Castle or those other places, you want to be able to have internet because you want to stay connected with the world, and that goes for vacationers and people who are working as well.
Absolutely.
Or on a working vacation. All right, there was another event, a kind of a different tone up in Vinton County that happened on Saturday, and Red Thompson Jr., he was at Spectrum on Friday morning for that event. He was covering a football game on Friday night at Vinton County, the homecoming game up there. And then he was back up early on Saturday morning, and I think he's sleeping right now, by the way. No, not actually. He's actually working, I'll tell you that. But
he's not a morning person. We know that.
He could be sleeping.
He could be.
But there was a big event by the Vinton County Health Department up at the middle school, and they called it the Anti-Stigma Health Fair. And it covered, a couple of the big social issues, substance abuse, drug abuse, what to do about it, but also suicide prevention, which, the stats are scary. Sometimes you don't realize how much suicide there is. And you always wonder when you hear that suicide is one of the leading causes of death among teenagers. And so that's what this event was all about at the middle school. And the star attraction was Eric Hipple. Do you remember that name by any chance?
Well, I kind of do. The girls were talking about that when they were in on Thursday, I guess it was.
The health. That's right.
Yeah, they stopped by. So very, very interesting.
Well, Eric Hipple was an NFL quarterback for the Detroit Lions in the 80s. Of course, a college standout, I think at Utah State. A very ballyhooed quarterback, threw over 10,000 yards in his NFL career that went about 10 years. But, unfortunately, you have your ups and downs, and Eric Hipple had his downs. First of all, he was cut after the 1989 season, supposedly for performance-based, after, having that long run.
That's a long career.
As a result, probably, of that unfortunate thing of losing his job there as the quarterback, being so high, and suddenly you're not anymore. He fell into substance abuse with alcohol and then drugs. He even was arrested for DUI at one point, had bankruptcy, was in jail for a month or two, I believe. And then in 2000 or 2001, the worst thing of all, his teenage son committed suicide.
Oh, my.
So talk about being down.
Yeah.
But he did not stay out. He bounced back, and now he is the director, the outreach coordinator for the Depression Center at the University of Michigan. And so he makes appearances out to talk about his experience and to try to help others who may be dealing with feelings of depression. And, when you're depressed, you don't really want to feel that way.
No, you don't choose to be depressed.
Right. But, it can be a physical thing. It can be a psychological thing, maybe a combination of the two. But a lot of it, also has to do, with your state of mind. And he talked about how he recovered from that. And, you listen to a guy like that because, he's had the highest of highs and he's had the lowest of lows. And he talked about that up there with the audience, which there was a good turnout for. A lot of other agencies with the health department up there for that. But we do have a little bit of a video, Eric Hipple actually talking that Red got. So if you could cue that up, Dylan, we will hear from Eric Hipple now.
There's a stigma, I think, that people kind of latch on to, that this can't happen to a successful person. I think a lot of people believe that drug addiction is only for people that's poor or don't have any success in life. And we can see through, you were certainly a successful person, and, is that something that you find that people believe, or that it only happens?
Yeah, I mean, stigma is a huge thing. And, and because our society looks at when something's wrong with somebody, that's a weakness, and there's a tendency for people to ostracize, to separate themselves from it, and that's a problem, someone else's problem, and not my problem. The trouble is when it finally hits home, because 1 in 4 people are going to suffer some sort of mental health issue or be involved with some sort of mental health issue within their family. And so that's a high number. And so why don't we get rid of the stigma and say, since it's so prevalent, then we do something about it early and maybe, push off so we don't have the tragedies and this stuff. Nobody wakes up one day and says, hey, I want to be an addict. Hey, I want to take my life today. Nobody wakes up doing that. So it's a thing that happens over time and a mindset and maybe circumstances that present themselves to where self-medicating becomes, an avenue that somebody goes down to try and deal with their pain.
And let's talk just a little bit about your athletic career. From a town in Texas to growing up in California, as you said, playing college football and then pro football. What has the NFL meant to you? And can you tell us about the iconic Silver Dome that's no longer with us, but was a popular American icon, especially on Thanksgiving when Detroit was the only game televised?
Well, I was born in Texas, but I grew up in Southern California, a 3A high school. I only had one scholarship offer, and that was to Utah State University, so I went there. But I've been very fortunate to have coaches in my younger life, anyway, that happen to be very good coaches at the right place at the right time, at least for me. And so kind of fell underneath their wing. I became a 4-year starter at Utah State, and then I got drafted by the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions have been, the family and the Lions themselves have been very good to me. During my 10 years when I was there, I did go through 3 head coaches and 5 offensive coordinators, so every other year you had to learn another offense, which doesn't lead to a lot of consistency. And so that was always kind of a downfall, I think. But I only played for that one team, and so I have my heart's there, and a lot of memories are there. Some of those memories happen to go back to the Silverdome, of course, which was an 80,000 plus stadium where the fans sit right on top of you because of the way it's stacked, and it just rock and rolled. And we played every Thanksgiving Day game there, which was pretty iconic, and to us it was a national game, and so it was a chance to show yourself in front of the whole world. And fortunately, I played pretty well at most of those Thanksgiving Day games, but it was great. That place could really rock and roll. Unfortunately now it doesn't exist anymore. They tore it down a few years back, and watching it be tore down was kind of sad, because it's the end of an era. But Ford Field is a fantastic place, and actually playing downtown in Detroit, I think, is where the team should be anyway, because it's Detroit Lions. Let's play in the city that you're there, and it's got so many fans right now and just going crazy because the Lions, kind of turned it up, and they're potentially certainly a playoff contender. Looking at, even at this early, just because of the way they're playing.
All right. Well, we heard.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, a lot of respect for Eric Hipple for turning his life around and then trying to help people.
Yes.
A lot of times it's just enough to crawl out of that hole.
Yep.
But he's doing so much more. So you respect that man. You certainly give props to the Vinton County Health Department because they're very proactive with their public events, trying to help people.
Agreed.
Not just on health things, but on things a little bit beyond health, like the depression and the suicide prevention and depression, suicide prevention, and the drugs and the alcohol type thing.
And I think that their campaign, and I can't remember the specific words of it, but it's basically just like squashing the stigma of not talking about things and dealing with things alone, and you shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to, and that's where
it's
other people who are fortunate enough maybe not to have those troubles in their life be more compassionate and also understand that this is not, for the most part, choices that people make.
Right.
It just happens in their lives, and it's hard to cope. But anyway, we'll have extensive coverage on Eric Hipple's visit and the Anti-Stigma Health Fair in Saturday's paper, and a little bit of a preview in Wednesday's paper. Red did a real good job working on that. All right, we're going to turn to crime now. Unfortunately, we did have some crime last week. I'm going to give you two stories.
Uh-oh.
One out of Wellston. A traffic stop. It was a week ago today, on Monday, Monday evening, October the 2nd. Started off as many of these things, routine traffic stop, some sort of equipment violation. Well, it ends up that the police officers there in Wellston on this traffic stop found huge amounts of fentanyl and methamphetamine.
Uh-oh.
The person who has been charged in this is Brian Wiseman, age 52, of MacArthur. There he is right there. That is him in a Wellston Police Department photo that they put on Facebook. But on this, they found they always say suspected because they do the chemical tests, but they believe it was fentanyl and methamphetamine. Listen to this: 107 grams of fentanyl, 323 grams of methamphetamine, and a loaded handgun.
Oh.
So
just that?
There's some of the, obviously it looks like some
Holy
cash might have been
moly.
confiscated too. But they took Wiseman to Holzer Medical Center, Jackson Hospital, to be checked out. He was cleared and put in the Jackson County Correctional Facility. At this point, he faces a first-degree felony, that's as high as it gets, possession of controlled substances. He was arraigned in Jackson County Municipal Court on the very next day. He is being held on a $500,000 bond. Later on, they were able to determine in the system that he has an active felony level warrant for his arrest from Vinton County. They're discharging a firearm into a habitation that stems from a case in Vinton County earlier this year. So more charges are expected to follow, but that's what they were holding them on. Plus, there's that warrant out of Vinton County. And remember, we can't emphasize this enough, how dangerous fentanyl is. It doesn't take much, to kill you if you ingest it
100%.
Accidentally or unknowingly.
Yep.
All right. Very unusual case to report in Jackson that you probably heard about, the famous Walmart shoplifter.
I saw a picture or two online.
Right. Well, they worked with us, the Jackson Police Department, to try to get the word out here. Here is the suspect. This occurred back on September the 30th, a week ago Saturday. And the police got with us in the middle of the week to get our help to try to identify this suspect. This is the suspect on surveillance video inside the store putting some items into a tote. All right. Now, that's not necessarily, a crime to do that. The problem was...
you kind of got to pay for it.
The problem was he tried to wheel that out. How much did he have in his tote? $2,929.48. This was at 2:47 p.m. on a Saturday. Can you imagine?
Just in the middle of the afternoon.
In the middle of the day, right. And so...
Good grief.
As they say in the jargon of the store, he passed the last point of sale without checking out, not even self-checkout, which I've always wonder how you can cheat that thing,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not trying to
you just keep on walking.
Not trying to give anybody ideas, but so... The person there at the door probably saw that he hadn't paid or whatever. He had a mask on, but remember, we're still in the COVID season, so you might not think of that, but it was probably meant as a disguise.
Yes.
So he tries to walk out. The person at the front of the store who works for the store tries to stop him to check him out. Of course, he tries to keep going. There he is with the tote outside the store. This is when he's on the run, because right when this happened, there was a hero in the store who we're just going to identify as a civilian in the police report. He sees what's happening and he tries to tackle this guy with the shopping cart and the tote. And he is able to tackle him and tear his shirt, but he's able to get away. And he gets a hold of the tote and tries to run. The civilian stays after him, is able to get the tote away from him, although the suspect here is able to grab at least one item and make it to a red car in the parking lot. There is the red car that was in the parking lot. So he was able to get in that car. I don't know whether there was anyone else in the car or not, but it drove away, turned out the front entrance of the store down State Route 93.
Well, isn't it smashed up there in the front?
It is. There's front end damage there on the front of the car. So that's a hint. I'm thinking that it's parked somewhere out of sight.
I'd say so.
But anyway, congratulations to the civilian, because he saved Walmart a lot of money there.
Holy moly!
But it was a 4-door red Dodge Avenger with some front end damage. You were right, Jennifer. Anyway, the police are looking for this suspect.
Well, as you can see, there's tattoos and some other things. So
yeah, he was wearing a hat with sunglasses, a blank tank top, black shorts, long black socks with gray and black Nike shoes. He had a tattoo on his right calf, neck tattoos, and a teardrop tattoo on one of his eyes. So,
well, that ought to be pretty obvious.
Yeah, if you run into somebody with that description, maybe. But anyway, obviously, call the Jackson Police Department at 286-4131 if you have seen this person, or it's the vehicle maybe, because the police would like to talk to this person. Now, they also believe that this person has done a similar shoplifting incident at 2 other stores, including one in Ross County.
Oh.
So this was not a first-time thing for this person. Once again, as far as I know, still unidentified. Sometimes they know who they're looking for. In this case, they don't even know that.
Well, you wonder, Dylan, pull that picture back up for a second, if you would. Isn't there a license plate in the picture? No. Well, it has to be a back license plate.
Yeah, but remember,
we'll see.
In the state of Ohio, you don't need a front license plate anymore.
Which I take umbrage with, by the way. But
law enforcement always like the front end license plate.
I do too, because I don't know. There's a million reasons why I can list that I think that we should have front license plates. But anyway,
I still have mine. I haven't taken mine off.
I know.
I'm not planning on doing any shopping though.
It's because you and I both drive cars for 25 years before we get a new one.
That's right. That's right. I've invested quite a bit in the one I have, so
exactly.
We'll hold on to it. All right, kind of another law enforcement type story, kind of like a scam warning story. This comes from Columbia Gas, and we have a lot of Columbia Gas customers here in our local area. But they announced on Thursday that an unknown person or persons have attempted to use their name in an apparent attempt to scam some of their customers. A Columbia Gas spokesman stated, and I'll just quote them directly so I don't interpret this wrong. It has come to the attention of us here at Columbia Gas of Ohio that people have been receiving fraudulent checks that have seemingly come from us. This is not the case and is an attempt to steal funds and personal information from unsuspecting customers. So you get the fraudulent check and, you think, oh my gosh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And so it is an attempt to get you to make a contact so they can get some of your personal information. And it's not a new thing, but maybe a new angle that they're trying here. The spokesman further explained that some customers have received a paper check with instructions on what to do with the check once received. At one point in the letter, the fraudster urges the recipient not to discard the letter, saying, that it's important, we'll shut your gas off or whatever. I'm not sure that's what they say, but they do some compelling thing to think that you have to respond.
Gotcha.
You know,
That
like
makes
like the
sense.
fake IRS
Yeah.
letters, the fake warrants, and
And then they
whatever.
start asking you all kind of personal stuff over the phone because you're scared, and then most people will give that information away.
Right, exactly. So that comes from Columbia Gas. We have that little story online, and it was in Saturday's paper. Okay, this was a neat thing. We talked about it ahead of time. We want to acknowledge it. I was there. It was wonderful. Dylan was there. I'm sure he would say it was wonderful. We called it Oak Hill's Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
That
love
was the
that.
grant-funded refurbishment of the T-ball field
Mhm.
down at Oak Hill. Oak Hill, one of only 3 entities, the Oak Hill Recreation League, only one of 3 entities in the country to get this grant for field work in the country. So they had this big event on Monday, late Monday afternoon. We talked about it on the news, I know, last Monday, but here is the ribbon cutting. You have people from the Oak Hill Recreation League. You have people from Scott's, who is one of the funders, people from Major League Baseball, one of the funders. Right in the middle with the scissors, we'll get a better view of her in another picture, is Jenny Finch,
Yeah.
the world famous softball pitcher who was part of an Olympic champion for the United States.
Yep.
There she is talking to the youth league kids. As you can see, a great turnout. They figured 125 kids out there.
That is so cool.
Now here she is talking to them. Yeah, right there on the left, standing up. That's Jenny Finch in the sunglasses. She was wonderful. I had a chance to interview her briefly. She is, of course, you know, Major League Baseball hired her. Oh, there's Dylan back there. I thought Dylan was telling us about Jenny Finch. He's telling us about Dylan. Okay.
How
So
funny.
Dylan was there. See, that's
He's cracking himself up.
that's
'cause he's
evidence there.
looking at himself.
But Jenny was wonderful. I mean, she related very well with the kids. And, you know, there was a clinic afterward where, you know, Major League Baseball and some Ohio State coaches and baseball players were there. So I'm sure that was some wonderful training. But just to see Jenny Finch and hear about a champion and hear how that she started out just like them as a youth league player was very inspiring, I'm sure. Here is Jenny Finch at a private reception before all the whoop-de-doo over at the ball field. Jenny Finch
Look how cute.
signed autographs for little kids and like that. That is the man standing up there is Corey Ruby,
Yep.
who is the president of the Oak Hill Recreation League. He's also our broadcaster
Yeah.
for the Oak Hill sports games.
Yes.
Give him a lot of credit for being the leader, the spearhead of getting that grant and
Correct.
putting this wonderful event together that celebrated. You know, it was one thing to get the grant and do the field, but it was another thing to celebrate it and use it as an inspiration type thing for those kids. Also, I think, you know, given the fact of the problems with the Oak Hill football team, you know, not having enough players out,
Yes.
the injuries and like that, it's also kind of like hope for the future. All these kids playing sports early, that they'll keep on doing that
You
because
got
of
it.
the opportunities and the positive experiences they're getting as little kids.
Mhm.
So Jenny Finch was wonderful. We called it once again the Oak Hill Field of Dreams, but a really heart-tugging story down there at Oak Hill. All right, want to touch on this real quick. This is not exciting stuff, but it is important stuff. At the last school board meeting, we covered this in a front page story in our Saturday paper. As you know, health insurance is not cheap.
No, it is
I mean,
not.
it goes up a lot anyway, but in this climate and the inflation, it's going up a lot too. Well, the Jackson City schools are about ready to do a new health insurance contract. And at the last school board meeting, Superintendent Phil Howard did a detailed report on how the health insurance cost them over the years. And it's a standard thing. You know, the schools, the businesses negotiate with the insurance companies. They shop around if they have to. But, you know, the increase in the health insurance costs is often beyond inflation. And
I got it. I have to I have to write things on my hand when I remember
Oh, you
them
got inks on your hand,
to
too.
visit later. Yes.
Well, anyway, the schools are about ready. Or I think they've already got some figures for their next contract. And Phil Howard was saying that the cost of health insurance is a big draw on the Jackson City schools budget.
Yeah.
For instance, a teacher who's taught 5 years on the pay scale might make $50,000 in salary.
Okay.
Their health insurance costs $35,000. So they become an $85,000 cost.
Whoa.
And there are many employees who are not teachers who don't quite make as much. The district invests more in their health insurance than they do in their salary.
Wow.
And so you times this over all the full-time employees that are getting health insurance. And now the employees pay a portion. It's a small portion, but they used to, I think at one time it was 100%. Now it's not 100% anymore. And the district's costs are capped by contract at 9%. But if the health insurance goes up more than that, they're going to have to make revisions in the insurance. And that's hard to do because of contractual agreements with the unionized teachers and employees. Yep. So it's a kind of a catch-22. Anyway, Superintendent Howard indicated that that in the next school board meeting, which by the way is tomorrow night, that the treasurer, Jared Bunning, who's very well thought of in the district, and also with all the treasurers in the state, he's very active in the state treasurers. The Ohio Association of School Business Officials is what they call it. He is going to do a detailed report about the finances of the district and what might have to happen to make the ends meet.
Okay.
Because, you don't want to cut positions.
No.
You don't want to cut insurance. You want to roll along the best you can, but, it's also a business.
But you have to be competitive with pay and all of that too.
Right,
you know,
do.
so there's a lot Involved in that.
You do. There was a time not all that long ago where teaching positions were cut in the Jackson City schools. Now, the state funding turned out to be better than they feared, but still, it's a static thing, and state funding pays for the majority of the funding for the Jackson City schools. So whatever it is. On the local side, you don't have any levies. I think you might have a small levy left over from the school building project, but it's not very big. But there is no income tax and there is no operating levy.
Right.
I don't know whether they're talking about that, but they know that something has to be done. Butch Cooper, who is one of the school board members, saying with the health insurance situation being a factor, he says something's got to give. So maybe we'll find out what that is. All right, this is the week that the early voting begins for the November 7th election. I know that seems early, but I know you've seen the campaign signs popping up. Tomorrow is the last day to register if you're not a registered voter or you have to change your registration status because of a change of name, a change of address, whatever. It's just, even if you've been a registered voter, if you have a change like that, you've got to register that. You can do it at the Board of Elections, you can do it at the schools, you can do it at the library, all around the state. But tomorrow is the deadline to do that, October the 10th. Registration, or the Board of Elections, will be open longer those days. It will be open from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. So even if you're a working person, there is no excuse not to go out and update your registration or to register if you're a newbie or or your registration ceased or whatever. So make sure you're registered so you can vote if you want to. Early voting will start on Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Board of Elections. We'll say more about that as time goes on. Okay, we want to say the Foothills Art Festival. I know you folks were there on the road.
We were Friday. It was fun.
We have a follow-up to that. They picked the People's Choice over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
And it was a young lady. Well, we don't have her picture, but we have her art picture here. It is, there it is. Isn't that a nice piece?
Oh, man.
That is a two-dimensional piece by Maya Dummett. And I think, can you confirm this, Dylan? Is she a Jackson High School student?
Yes.
Because she got some hurrahs from the teachers there. So I'm guessing, I know she was in the youth category.
Yes.
But she was first place in two-dimensional in the youth category.
So
she was the People's Choice. So congratulations to her. And of course, once again, we covered the Foothills Art Festival stuff. I know you did on Friday, but the best of show was by Dwayne Campbell. Great painting of a fox.
Oh, it's absolutely
there it
gorgeous.
is. I was just so taken by that. I like the nature pictures anyway, but that's Mr. Campbell on the right. And of course, SHAC President Matt Wilson on the left. So another Foothills Art Festival in the books.
Very good.
All right. So we want to tell you also an interesting thing coming up Saturday or Thursday at the Jackson City Library. There's going to be a program, kind of like a book signing program about a local author. He's a Wellston author named Willard E. Ford II.
Yes.
and he has a cookbook. Now, this is odd, but it's going to get some attention. Someone's in the kitchen with Lizzie, and that is, you've heard about this, Jennifer.
They were in last week to talk about it.
I didn't know that.
There were so many puns flying around, I just can't even explain it.
Anyway, someone's in the kitchen with Lizzie Borden's Kitchen Hacks and Victorian
Kitchen
Recipes.
hacks.
And everybody knows the Lizzie Borden story, the famous rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Or maybe it was the other way around.
We don't know.
I think it was the other way around.
Regardless.
But anyway, she was, of course, acquitted, and all the follow-up movies and whatever makes it seem like that she maybe wasn't innocent.
Wasn't quite as innocent as
but she went to her grave in the 1920s, an innocent woman, but still with that black cloud over her. This is law enforcement. Whenever you have an unexplained homicide in a house and, there wasn't a break-in and you don't know of anything where anybody was mad at you, they always are going to think the family.
Yes, exactly.
No matter what, even if it wasn't. So anyway, I'm not going to castigate Lizzie because I don't know.
We don't know.
But this sounds like an interesting cookbook.
Only she knows.
And he's going to have a Lizzie Borden program this Thursday at the Jackson City Library at 6 p.m. And we've got a story about that book.
Yes.
That we hope will be in one of our papers this week. Hopefully, maybe the Wednesday paper in advance of the program at the library on Thursday. But Willard E. Ford II is from Wellston.
Very good.
All right. We are just 2 weeks away, less than that now, from the Feed My Starving Children event at the Christ Church of Jackson.
Yes.
This is where they pack the food boxes, the little packs called manna packs of non-perishable food with a lot packed with vitamins to feed my starving children. And they really are starving children. We talked about it on TV. It was in stories. There are children in this world that are dying from starvation.
Absolutely.
It's just not something that you say for the effect of drama. It's happening.
It's for sure happening.
And so that's what this is all about. The local event is called Jackson County Cares. They're shooting for 500 volunteers the weekend of Friday, October 20th and Saturday, October 21. You don't have to be part of a group. You don't have to belong to that church or any church. It's for anybody, not just in the county, in the city, or its area. They need 83 volunteers. They must have over 400. They need 83 more. It can be a person. It can be a sports team. It can be a club. It can be a social group.
All those high school kids that need hours to graduate, get in there.
Right. I think they've got a great response so far, but they still need a little bit more help there.
Very cool.
And once again, the plan shifts, 2-hour shifts. It's not hard. It's like an assembly line.
Yep.
1 to 3 p.m. and 4 to 6 p.m. on Friday the 20th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, October 21st. In our Saturday paper, we have a story on that. You can educate yourself on it. And we have a copy of a QR code, which makes it very easy to register and learn more about that. All right. Okay. If there's a neat event going on at Canner's Cave, it started yesterday and it will go through Friday. It is the Church and Rescue Dogs training session. They've done this before here. And they will be out at Canner's Cave, but they're going to be also out at Hammertown. They're going to be out at Jackson Lake, and they're going to be in town a little bit as part of this training. So you may see them, but that's what's going on. It is the Canine Search and Recovery Organization Group. I think it's a regional group, but Canner's Cave is a destination sometimes for these training sessions. They will be providing training, networking, and education for search dog handlers and to promote the increased use of search dogs in all aspects of detection. Much of the training will take place out at Canner's Cave, but also in the city of Jackson. They might be down in the downtown area and parks working on their training skills, while human remains detection dogs may be seen working inside some local businesses.
Okay.
So this is something to see. If you happen to see that is what is going on. They'll
see
have
them walking around town.
They'll have water detection dogs out at those two lakes that we talked about, Hammertown and Lake Jackson.
Very cool.
Okay, this past Saturday, was busy also for some other events. We had the Pink Party on Portsmouth, and I know that you were in that to the nines.
Yeah.
And I understand a great turnout for the race, the early morning race.
did.
Our Alex Shope was there, took some pictures. We'll have some coverage on that. But Tell us about it.
Yeah, Pete, thanks. So this is kind of a brainchild of several of us that started doing little individual events and then realized that there's strength in numbers. So therefore we merged some of our smaller events together. And so our Pink Party on Portsmouth was kind of designed to help raise money to buy gas cards for breast cancer patients to help them with their travels. And so we had the first ever on Saturday. We had started out the day with a 5K and had 70 plus people sign up for the first ever.
That is fantastic.
It was so cool. I mean, it was just so awesome to see. And then we just had a day of food and music, and there's so many people to thank. We had a beer garden. We had Morgan Washam came and donated his time and equipment, played some music. Ethan Michael played, and his son Waylon, and had some food and lots of vendors. And it was just a good day. Raised quite a bit of money for those gas cards. I can't give you a number right off the top of my head because we haven't all reconvened to come together and talk about everything, but it was thousands. Let's put it that way. It was in the thousands.
Okay, well, the money is one thing, and it was a nice event on top of that, a good way to spend the day. And also, another takeaway that you can't put a price on is the awareness about breast cancer.
Yes.
I was so impressed with what you did. I wore a pink shirt this morning.
Thanks, Pete.
I couldn't be
You're
there.
so
I
sweet.
couldn't be there. I didn't run, but it's the least that I could do.
That is so kind. And we had two speakers, and both of them, if you can have an outside event and not hear a peep, that's pretty telling. And during both speakers, there wasn't 1 ounce of noise, and they told their stories and gave some inspiration and different things, and it was just a really, really good day. We've got so much more planned already for next year. We hope that it continues on.
Okay, well, that is wonderful.
So thank you to everybody.
I believe, you probably knew this, but I think unless they've changed it, that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So see, you're right on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, another thing that happened on Saturday, going on at the same time, and it drew a nice crowd, was the Buckeye Furnace Fall Festival.
Exactly.
And of course, they had pretty good weather. I know it turned a little cool, but it didn't rain or anything later in the day. And so Jeremiah Shaver was out there on the early side to cover some of the events there. They went along all day. Jillian is just putting up a little bit of a video montage here of some shots that he took.
Look how pretty it is out there this time of the year.
Oh, it's very nice.
Just gorgeous.
I mean, if you don't want to be involved in the events or listen to the music, go to the store out there or whatever, just being out there at nature, seeing that wonderful historic site out there that's not easy to get to. It's off the beaten path a little bit. It's definitely worth the trip. And the Jeremiah told me they had a good crowd out there.
Just beautiful.
I think, and for the shoppers out there, about 40 vendors.
Yeah, they had
there
a
are so
ton
many
of vendors.
cottage type people now that do that, and online businesses.
Yes.
Many more than you think. You see that at the sidewalk market.
Yes.
They come to the sidewalk, they get a chance to have face-to-face interaction with their products and like that. And 40 vendors, I understand, out at the Buckeye Fall Furnace. Congratulations to Tammy Mash and Jan McKibben, the caretakers out there, who I think are the main movers and shakers.
Yes.
So congratulations to them, and we'll have some picture coverage of that coming. Another big thing, believe it or not, later in the day, this is so popular, the Haunted Barn at the Jackson County Fairgrounds.
Oh, man.
They do this.
So fun.
It's going to be every Saturday from 8 to 11 p.m. Cost you $15, but they will scare the bejeebers out of you in a safe way. In a safe way.
Responsibly.
Right. And of course, this goes for a good thing to support the 4-H program and improvements at the fairgrounds.
Yes.
And give those folks that are involved, mainly the Jackson County Fair Board Committee and 4-H people, they donate their time. They give up their 4 Saturdays in October to do this, to help raise money. And it's a nice event. As I said, affordable $15, free parking. I think they might give you free popcorn. There's concessions that you can buy as well. And you have more opportunities here. the final Saturdays in October, 8 to 11 p.m. out there at the fairgrounds.
Very good.
All right, and next Saturday, another big event, kind of with a spooky theme, Midnight at Moonville, will be held Saturday, October 14th. Next Saturday, we're going to be covering that at 2. It will be the 6th annual Midnight at Moonville.
That's a biggie.
This has become a real big tourist attraction. It's kind of a party, but the theme is, of course, one of the more haunted spots in Ohio, reputedly Moonville, which is a ghost town, basically, in Vinton County. It used to be a bustling little railroad center back in the 1800s, but now it's a tourist attraction. They got the tunnel there where the ghosts are.
Yep.
I'll go there in the day, but not at night, unless there's a bunch of other people there.
What a wimp.
I know it. But they'll have all kinds of entertainment out there. They're going to have some pageants this time. Little Miss Moonville, Middle Miss Moonville, Big Miss Moonville. They're going to do all those things to add to it this year. All that is going on. This is presented by the Vinton County Convention and Visitors Bureau in partnership with the Moonville Rail Trail Association. It's quite an event. We'll be covering that in person as well. So another event coming up this Saturday is the Pumpkin Walk. The Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce will be doing it. It will take.
Oh, that's always huge.
It is big. They always have a bunch of kids participating in this. Adults, there's even an adult category. And, we talk about what they do, with art at the Foothills Art Festival. What do you think they do with art on pumpkin decorating?
Oh,
it just blows
anything and everything.
It blows your mind. But
Yes.
It will be at Central Memorial Park at 7:30 p.m. The Chamber of Commerce does this nice community event. It's the 12th annual. It's always been popular. Free apple cider and cookies will be available at 6:45 p.m. The lighted pumpkin walk, where you can walk around and see all the lighted pumpkins, will be at 7:30 p.m. Chamber actually had a time where you could pick up free pumpkins. That time has passed, but you can still bring your own pumpkin and carve it, so it's not too late to participate in that. There'll be prizes.
Not hard to find one of those.
No, prizes for different categories: funniest, scariest. There'll be best carved, best painted, and there will be, of course, the best of show pumpkin and the best adult carved pumpkin. So that is a very nice event.
Is there going to be a Pumpkin Wilson?
You don't have to be, no.
Kind of like Pig Wilson, but
no,
it could be Pumpkin Wilson?
Well, not unless they convert it. This Thursday will be the biggest fundraiser of the year for Hope Haven School. It's called the Hope Haven Fall Festival.
Yes.
It will be this Thursday at the school there on Sellers Drive here in Jackson. It will be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be a split the pot, lots of food, a penny auction, a vendor fair, and a live auction that I think always raises a lot of money. The live auction will be from 6 to 7 p.m. And in this year, the Fall Festival is being held in honor of the late Sandy Borden.
Yeah.
Of course, we talked about Sandy's manifest contributions to the community. Well, one of the things that she supported, and there were many, was Hope Haven School. When she was a member of the Rotary Club, she always was one of the big organizers for the Hope Haven picnic that Rotary Club did. In her later years and before her death, she was an aide at Hope Haven. So she got even more involved there. And I know that those folks were so sad when she passed away here earlier this year. The Rotary Pancake Supper, which is going to be held the last Thursday in October, is also now being renamed the Sandy Borden Memorial Pancake Supper.
Love that.
Right. Okay, and that is on Thursday, October 26th at the Senior Citizens Center.
Yep.
We'll talk more about that later. A couple things on the governmental side. Jackson City Council meeting is canceled tonight. Oh. That is because of Columbus Day. In case you forgot, this is Columbus Day. A lot of your governmental offices are closed. There's a few that are open, but most are closed. I'm not sure about the schools. I should have found that out before we came on the air.
Okay.
But a lot of things are closed today. You go to the courthouse, it's going to be closed because of Columbus Day. The Vinton County Board of Education will have a work-study meeting tonight. It's open to the public. They won't be taking any board action, but there will be some important topics. I think they're going to talk about the report card that comes out every year where, the Ohio Department of Education assesses the academic progress in all the school districts. That's going to be addressed. Also, the Vinton County Board of Education has announced, this is important, they always meet on the third Tuesday of each month. Normally, that would be October the 17th. They've had to change it to Monday, October the 16th this time. We'll have that announcement in the paper and online.
Okay.
But at 6:30 p.m. at the district office in MacArthur, Meeting starts at 6:30 p.m. Also, today on the traffic side in Jackson, the section of Bennett Avenue in Jackson between Crossland Street and John Street will be closed starting today through Friday due to an ongoing project with Columbia Gas. I mean, Columbia Gas has been working all over the place, so usually the roads are open. Maybe there's one lane, maybe they'll have the flaggers. But in this case, according to the city, this section of Bennett Avenue from Crossland Street to John Street, I think that might be just one block.
Yeah.
Or it's not very long.
It's not, yeah.
But it's going to be closed. If you live there, you
Kinda
cut
down
across
by the
there.
ball field.
Yeah, you'll find it. And that's only going to be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. It won't be like at night. It's just when they're working. But that is supposed to go through the end of the week.
Very good.
All right. We're going to talk some sports now. And before we get to football, we want to give our hats off to the Jackson Iron Ladies soccer team.
Yeah. Hey, they were in the 5K.
Were they in the 5K? Well, bless their
hearts. With Coach Karina.
Right. Well, Coach Karina, congratulations to her. She and the ladies have done something that have not been done here with the girls soccer program since 2016, and that is win a conference title. They won the Frontier Athletic Conference title. They clinched it with an undisputed crown with a victory over Miami Trace last Tuesday at home. That was in front of the home folks. Here is a couple of the girls. I believe that's Brianna Brennan hitting the soccer ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a shot of Lillian Mapes. That's Lillian Mapes, one of the underclassmen. But it's a real great team. Maddie Walburn, who is a homecoming queen candidate, is a great goalkeeper. For the soccer team. I think it's goalie in hockey and goalkeeper in soccer, I think.
We'll go with that.
Right. But anyway, congratulations to those girls for a title. Chillicothe usually rules the roost in soccer, both boys and girls, but Jackson knocked them off this year. And Karina is a first-year head coach. So give her a lot of credit. The Iron Ladies went to Chillicothe, I believe, last Thursday. And this was a game, they already had the title, and they were on Chillicothe turf. Chillicothe is the defending champion. They beat them again anyway, just to say it wasn't an accident the first time. So
that's awesome.
Jackson was, I think, 9-0-1. They had one tie in the conference, but they won the rest of their games, and they will now go on to the tournament. So congratulations to—
Way to go, ladies.
Exactly. Okay, in football, we're going to report the scores. The Jackson Ironmen keep rolling along. They went to Hillsboro and won 63-21. There's the scores put up there by our Dylan.
Wow.
Good job, Dylan. The Ironmen are now 7-1 on the year. They are 3-0 in the Frontier Athletic Conference. When this game started, Jackson and Hillsboro were tied for first place. It looks like they separated themselves in this game.
Holy moly, I'd say so.
Remember, this Jackson team, I saw Andy Hall at the restaurant on Sunday and told him what a great job he and the staff are doing. I know the standard is high here in Jackson, but they had to replace most of their players. They have a sophomore quarterback. They had to rebuild the line, and they're rolling along just like they have in recent years. So they've already clinched a berth in the playoffs. And right now, of course, we have 2 games left to go. Right now, if the season ended, they would host 2 games, provided they win the first game. 16 teams in each region get into the playoffs, and right now they're ranked number 4. The first 8 teams host a game, and if you advance after winning the first game and you're in the top 4, you'll host a second game. So this is big for our fans and the team as well.
Yep.
Okay, look at the bottom there. The Vinton County Vikings, they're rolling along too. They beat River Valley 69-12 in their homecoming game.
Wow.
The Vikings are 7-1 overall. They are in first place in the Tri-Valley Conference Ohio Division, and they are tied with Nelsonville, York. Guess what? Guess who plays each other this Friday night?
Vinton County and Nelsonville,
York.
York.
It's up at Nelsonville, York. The Buckeyes are the defending champions. So you'll hear the pads popping in the next county, I'm sure. But if Vinton County wins this game, they will be alone in first place. If Nelsonville, York wins, they will be alone in first place. And they will be in position to win an undisputed title, whoever wins this game on Thursday or on Friday. So that is a biggie. Jackson, by the way, has 2 FAC games left at home. Frontier Athletic Conference, that's an acronym. If they win both of those games, they will win the undisputed title. They're alone in first place now. Both of those games are home. Jackson was away for 3 straight games, but they will finish Greenfield at home, homecoming this Friday, and then Chillicothe in the season finale.
Okay.
Our other local teams, the Wellston Golden Rockets, had a shootout kind of with the Athens Bulldogs, but they ended up on the short end of a 48-27 score. The Rockets are 3-5 overall and 2-2 in the TVC Ohio. Still much improved from last year.
Yes.
And they gave Athens a good game there at C.H. Jones Field. The Oak Hill Oaks have missed 2 games this year due to injuries on an injury-depleted roster that's too small, the local officials feel, to safely play.
Right.
When they only have 12, 13, 14 players.
Yep.
It takes 11 at a time, remember? Well, they did play last Friday at Lucasville Valley, and they were actually ahead in that game. They were ahead 13-7, so they came to play. Lucasville Valley, though, got the best of it in the end. They won 40-13. So the Oaks are scheduled to play at home against this Friday against Portsmouth West. As far as we know, that game is on, but we understand that Oak Hill had some more injuries last Friday night.
No,
Talk about
horrible.
being star-crossed.
Yeah.
So we hope for the best for them. So
Okay.
there we are. I'm sorry I ran 2 minutes over.
You're okay, Pete. We appreciate you spending your morning with us. And, there was just a lot to talk about. So we will be back here tomorrow with, I forget, but we'll be here with somebody.
Okay.
Who is it, Dylan?
Misery.
Oh, our Apple City Players will
Right,
be
I
here.
didn't mention that with all that there's going on, but yes, the Apple City Players will have another
Yes.
production this weekend, and they specialize in comedy, but somehow I don't think this is going to be a comedy, unless they've got some takeoff on it.
No, a little bit different this time.
It's Stephen
Yes.
King, and one of the best TV movies I ever saw with Kathy Bates
Yep.
and James Caan.
Yep, absolutely.
And so great story.
Yep.
Great story.
So we'll be back with them tomorrow. We'll learn all about misery. And so thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you then. Thanks, Pete.
See ya.
Bye-bye.